So, I'm bisexual and I was raised evangelical Christian, and today I want to talk about how Christian homophobia got in the way of me acknowledging and accepting my bisexuality. If you don't already know me, my name is Brian G. Murphy. I'm one of the co-founders of Theology.com, and today we're going to talk about Christian homophobia. Growing up, the message that I got from the church and from Christian culture around me was that homosexuality was something that you did. Orientation was secondary, if it even existed, or it was seen as a temptation. And so homosexuality was looking at gay porn, having gay sex, kissing boys, fantasizing about men, looking at, male underwear models. The emphasis was always on actions rather than orientation. It didn't matter so much if you had a bisexual orientation, just as long as you weren't committing homosexual acts. In fact, after I came out, I went to a Christian therapist, and he asked if I would go to more therapy to move my attractions closer towards bisexuality. And then I could just choose to only act on my attractions towards women and not on my attractions towards men. When it came to bisexuality, the message that I got was that the only problem were the homosexual parts of it. Now that I'm out and proudly bisexual, I understand that bisexuality isn't one part gay and one part straight. I am just 100% bisexual. But this particular type of Christian homophobia defines homosexuality as particular acts and then discriminates against people based upon those actions. Orientation be damned. And so bisexual people and homosexual people both experience this particular type of homophobia. Wait. Aren't you bisexual? What do you mean your therapist asked you to go to therapy to move your attractions closer towards bisexuality? Yes, I am bisexual, but it took me a little while to figure that out. And part of the problem for me was that this particular type of Christian homophobia defined the sin of homosexuality as specific actions. And so for me, the tension came around my attractions to men, my desires to be with men, and so that's sort of like what sucked up all the energy and the focus. You know when you like bite your cheek and then it swells up and then you keep biting it, or you hit your hand with a hammer and then any sort of discomfort you might be feeling elsewhere sort of goes away because all you can focus on is the thumb you just hit or the cheek that you just bit. That was sort of, for me, what it was like realizing that I was attracted to guys. That sort of problem, what I thought was a problem, what I thought might be a place where I was going to sin, sucked up all of my time, energy, and focus, and I didn't have time or space to really consider any other attractions that I may or may not be experiencing. Another problem for me was the God made me this way, I don't have a choice defense of being gay. One of the most common arguments that I heard for how you can know it was okay to be gay or lesbian or transgender and Christian was that God made us this way and we didn't have a choice, and so therefore it must be okay, because why would God make us this way if it was only going to be a sin? And so my entire worldview of it's okay to be gay hinged on I don't have any other options. And then every now and then I would be attracted to a woman and suddenly I would be thrown into crisis because suddenly it felt like I did have a choice or I did have other options. And then I was maybe supposed to just choose women because like, oh, I'm attracted to this person, so if I could choose that, then it means I'm not stuck being gay. And being gay isn't necessarily a choice because, again, being gay was defined as homosexual actions rather than an identity or an orientation. And so it was hard for me to have any sort of like healthy, meaningful relationship with a person who was causing me to have this existential crisis about the goodness of myself and my LGBTQ friends. And so when we talk about how we know it's okay to be LGBTQ, I think it's really important that we remember the experiences of bi, pan, queer folks who sometimes do feel like we had a choice or have a choice. And I now understand that when it comes to this idea of choosing, it's often framed as, like choosing between genders. But really the choice is choosing between fracturing yourself or between wholeness. And so regardless of who bi plus people choose to be in a relationship with at any given moment or choose to have sex with, we shouldn't have to choose between our queerness, our biness, and our Christian faith. And for me, as a bi person, it's important to remember that bisexual people can be affected by biphobia and homophobia. That it's important that we notice and name and work against the particular ways we're targeted because of our bisexuality, because of biphobia. And it's also important to notice the ways in which we're affected by homophobia and work in solidarity with our homosexual peers, because we're all part of one big queer family. That's all for today. If you're new here, hello and welcome. Subscribe to get more videos about queer theology and LGBTQ Christian issues. You can also check out queertheology.com, where we have a ton of resources for you, no matter where you are on your journey, from whether you're still sorting through whether it's okay to be LGBTQ and Christian, trying to figure out how to be an ally, to all the way if you're ready to really queer up your church, read the Bible queerly, and sort of bring a queer lens to your faith, to the Bible, to everything. So check that out. We also have a weekly Bible podcast where we give a queer take on Luke's lectionary reading. I'll put all the information to that, how you can connect to us on social media, how you can connect to me personally and my co-founder Shay. We would love to say hi, be your friend. That's all for now, and I'll talk to you soon.